Hello, and welcome to Iron GM. Today, we'll be taking one of my ideas and making it into a reality. A never-before-seen show on TPK, a giant game mastering tournament. The motivation for spending my time and others in creating this show was to encounter new and original one-shots, which could be truly called artistic creations. To realize my dream, I secretly started looking for top GMs of various styles of game running. These GMs might have what it takes to become one of the Iron GMs, the invincible creators of game running skills. Here today, in this arena, GMs will be competing to gain the favor of chat and the judges in hopes of taking home the title of Iron GM. Both of our GMs will have 1 hour to tackle the theme ingredients of the day, along with the added elements sprinkled along the way. Using all their senses, skills, and creativity, they will prepare a one-shot that has never been played before. Here on Iron GM, every battle, reputations are on the line, as are the hopes of each contestant to making it through the tournament to be declared the Iron GM. What inspirations does today bring, and how will these GMs fight back? The heat will be on. Hello, I am Purple Phil, and I will be your host today. Along with me, I have my two co-hosts that will be doing the judging and commentating for these one-shots that will be created by our GMs. I have with me, first off, the GM of Oathsworn and Master of Mythology himself, Turk Accented. Turk, it's good to have you here with us today. How are you doing?
I am so excited to be here once again. It's the semifinals now, right?
Yeah,
Get a little
it's the
excited,
second
a little
semifinals.
energy, a little pepper in the crowd. I mean, both these contestants really swung hard in the first round, so I'm really looking forward to what they're going to put in for this next penultimate showdown.
Also with me, we have the GM of Madness Calls It Forth, an avid storyteller, Proper Nerdy. Good to have you with us, Proper. How are you doing today?
I'm recovering from a weekend of bad decisions at a straight wedding, so you know what? It's gonna be great.
Well, it's a good way to recover. Just sit back and commentate and judge on some,
There was a great moment where I was like, oh no, I didn't prep for the session today. And then I realized, haha, that's the point, isn't it? Mwaha.
Is our luxury. A luxury, unfortunately, that our contestants will not have, as they will need to start making preparations once we reveal our ingredients. But first off, let's introduce them. This contestant has a mastery of all things dark and mysterious. Be careful not to get trapped in her dark echoes. When it comes down to it, she can mess you up bad. So bad you won't be able to tell heads or Zorpy's tales of it. In order to get down to it really though, see what makes her tick, we might just need to start a Harper's investigation. What doom will she bring to this gloom riff? It's the one and only Luka. Luka, how are you doing today?
Doing amazing. That was truly the best introduction I've ever had.
Thank you. I try really hard.
It was really fitting.
I hope you're doing well today. Do you have any plans or strategies going into the session today?
No, I actually didn't do any prep either, even though I didn't have any fancy weddings to go to. I'm mostly just gonna try and see if lightning will strike twice. But either way, I'll have fun putting it together, maybe playing it later.
Well, we'll be excited to see what you bring. Secondly, we have our second contestant. This contestant is willing to go further beyond the tides than most. But don't count her out. She might just stamp you out against the tides. Will she win these crown games? Let's find out. It's the magnificent Ash and Rabbit. Ash, it's good to have you with us today. How are you doing?
It's so good to be here. I'm stoked, beyond excited, all of those words.
Do you have any plans going in? I know you've been participating on some of them. What are your thoughts on the challenge going today?
So I did, in previous episodes of other contestants play along at the same time to kind of get myself in the mindset. And now having done it, I'm going in head empty, just I've got like my basic outline of how I like to write things, and that's it. That's all I've got.
Cool. Well, hopefully you'll be able to tackle all of the added ingredients we throw at you guys and don't catch you sitting down. But before we go too much further, just for everyone's sake, I'll go through a quick thing of what Iron GM is. So we started off originally with 8 magnificent GMs, and we've whittled our way down to 3. Today, Luka and Ash will be competing to see who moves on to the championship to face Zipper on Disney there. Whoever does not make it will, however, go to our consolation round, which we will be having next week with all of the other GMs that did not make it to the championship either. How does this competition work? Well, we'll be judging, the 3 of us judges will be judging each of the one-shots on a number of things, from exploration, social encounters, combat, narrative, handouts, style, and the use of the ingredients we provided. Chat will also have an input, as there'll be a chat vote put up at the end, and that will kind of have a really big swing on the effect of who wins this. So, chat, look out, find your favorite, and be sure to vote when the time comes. Other than that, without further ado, let's get to today's main ingredient. Unceasing, hungering. These creatures can bring fear to our players, but they're staples to the game. Whether they're flesh and bone or incorporeal, whether they've been brought out by a curse or raised by a powerful wizard. Our players will have to find out one thing. How do you kill who's already dead? Today's ingredient is undead.
Oh my god, Turk.
Contestants.
Turk, you were totally right. That's amazing. What a great background.
Perfectly timed.
All is well.
Terrifying.
Contestants, are you ready? So now, TPK, with an open heart and an empty table, I say unto you, in the words of my uncle, this French phrase that calls these Iron GMs to battle. Allez au donjon! You may begin.
Are we?
All right. Well, there we have it. Our key ingredient for today is undead.
The undead. Ah, you had a perfect intro for it as well. Cannot think.
Your timing on the switch was also very good.
Thank you. I had to remember there was a delay before they pop up, but I just love a good undead horror story. Something about those who refuse to pass on gives a lot of variability in what is definitely, at first glance, a very easy thing to work into a 5e Pathfinder style adventure, but can definitely have a lot of layers just with the sheer breadth of possibilities with the word undead. Very excited to see what's going to come up, because I mean, monster-wise, we're not just talking about zombies and skeletons here. We are talking ghosts, ghouls, and all the way to vampires.
Liches, vampires.
Liches, vampires, possessed specters, ghasts, poltergeists.
Even to go with something actually living, but raising undead with something like a necromancer or.
Now, here's a question for the more rules-heavy judges here. Does a ghost count as undead?
It is something still, to a point, living. I mean, it kind of depends on how you define life.
Now we're going to now we're going to switch over to the hosts only page while we have a quick existential discussion about what does life truly mean. Oh, I have the wrong ingredient up. Whoops. But yeah,
Well.
So I was like, what does undead really only mean? The zombies or those that you've risen from the grave, or does like a ghost or kind of any being of the underworld count as, in fact, undead?
So, underworld, possibly. If we're going by a strict RPG definition, undead typically will encapsulate anything that has a negative or like a resurrected aspect to it. Something that passed and is now continuing to walk around or refuses death even, which is why we can incorporate things like vampires, which is, as Heck mentioned, revenants, which are particularly great undead for an adventure, an undead with a mission to complete. Something that is exclusively objective driven. So by rules alone, depending on the system, it can be different, but with most mythos, it is, if you put something in the ground and it doesn't stay there, it's probably undead. Or continues to have effects on the living world.
I mean, my other question ends up being, okay, so sure, we can create a one-shot that revolves around the undead as the villain or as the monster or that kind of thing. But what other interpretations of undead do you think we're going to see today?
In regards to just them not being cannon fodder or villain types,
yeah,
I think it'd be absolutely very interesting, one, to set your players up as, vampires or zombies or something. Gosh, I'm having my own little like brain blast of a game where you are all undead and you have to try and like reconnect with one last important thing in your life, but you're also all shambling corpses. So you and your group have to go figure out what's going on. Or, you could all be skeletons and that's a little hard to integrate into society unless you want to form a real cool like Voltron skeleton thing, which I'm not
now I'm just imagining
sure that would integrate. It would integrate well. I'm not sure it'd integrate well with society.
No, I just really want a RPG system that like Monster Hearts, where you're just a bunch of skeletons. I just want to see that RPG come to life sometime soon. So but unrelated, I was trying to think, I mean, because I'm right near the very end of my season 1 of Madness Calls It Forth, I'm thinking of what other like myths and legends revolve around the undead, and like what riffs you could make of a story based around the undead. Like if you had a whole character that was based on not the mummy, I guess, but a mummy, or King Tut, that kind of thing, Cleopatra. If you want to do undead in those styles, that'd be really cool. But I feel like there's a bunch of like undead stories that I would really want to dig into and kind of mirror in the one shot that I would create.
Absolutely, a lot of folklore and folklore histories around the undead typically associate them not always as a mindless horde. That's kind of the Romero zombies that are trying to get into my studio here.
Sir Heckalot brings up the point of Frankenstein's monster as a rift, and
yes,
I'm a fan.
Absolutely, a lot of undead in folklore are wronged people or people who have died in bad ways for the culture and have thus returned to seek justice or inflict the pain which they felt in life on others. So I think there's a lot to play around there in regards to retribution and reclamation of what has been lost.
Also go with second chances, things like Lazarus or something like that might be another riff for you. Stories of that kind. Jesus was a lich, right?
Jesus was famously a lich.
I swear to God, if we get a Jesus Christ inspired one shot today, I will walk away from this studio.
It'd be very interesting. You guys gotta find a way to get past the Roman army and get that stone out of the way so we can bask in the moonlight and obtain his true powers or something. I don't know.
I think a really cool way to go with this that might not be normal would be to do something to actually really fully embrace the death into the undeath, of make you fight something, kill it, and then the next day it rises up and comes back after you, and that is the adventure. I think that'd be a really interesting way to take a hook of this, is literally bring the undeath as part of the story instead of it was already dead.
I mean, do you think we're gonna get any like zombie apocalypse cannon fodder kind of one shots today?
I mean, that's definitely a possibility. If they were to go, there's tons of systems already made just to do that, and then you can always squeeze that in something else. Zombies are very common creature in mythos and stories.
If we do get a zombie apocalypse into the world, I would hope it would be not necessarily, mowing down the undead. I think a lot of what makes zombie movies interesting is not the wanton violence that can be associated with it, but rather the interesting look that we can take at our own lives when society breaks down and a bunch of people are trying to kill another. But it's also like mindless. It's a representative of mindless consumerism and following a pack. And I think our two creators here, our two GMs, can definitely put something together that could definitely speak well to a small group of outsiders, the non-undead, having to navigate and get around in this now fully undead society. How do you survive being out of the norm?
I really hope that... who was it who did this? Oh, it was Luka. Luka was the one who played the character who is all for undead rights in one of our one-shots. And HP was the one who would go around gathering people's last words. So I hope that we get a little bit of inspiration from those characters in one of our one-shots. I could imagine Luka pulling that character like verbatim and like making a whole one-shot around her, because that was such a great myth.
Being a representative, yes, I know my client died and the legal system currently is biased towards the living in regards to property rights, but I'll have you know that he still contains life in his body. Though he does hunger mostly for brains, he still has rights. Or, other less comedic things, certainly. There's definitely a lot of room for ways to examine the undead, just because it's been done, but I don't think it's in that realm of been done as it can't be done again.
I really like that every so often when the zombies disappear from your video, Turk, we just get an all-white background, and it feels like we're watching like a movie breakdown of some like man in his basement being like, and I think this movie really exemplifies it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Just against a white wall, it's just such a vibe.
It disappointed the red bloodstains go away, because if they just pile up, that could really be a key. That's all right.
So, have we gotten any word from either of our players yet?
I see a couple ideas written down on Ash's notes here. She had two initial ideas it looks like she was thinking about. One was our zombies. Kind of sounds a little bit like some of the ones we were coming up with. Zombies trying to pass off as humans. And then another idea of a necromancer causing havoc in a small village.
We don't have any information yet, but in Lucas, the only thing that has been written so far is find and speak with Agar Chaos to book passage to Cool Kagas. I don't know where these words are coming from, but they're cool as heck. So I'm excited to see those.
Looks like she's got a character sheet up for this Agar Chaos as well, or however you say that. Yeah.
Looking for any word meanings. Cool is, all I'm getting is it's the Islamic practice by which a woman may divorce her husband.
Something tells me that's not it. But you never know.
No, did we lose Turk? Did he freeze?
Oh, he's an undead now. That's a shame.
Well, yeah. Looking a little bit further into, we'll just continue on and wait for him to catch up. Get note.
I do love Ash's brain dump document just with another idea.
Yeah. Just write down the other ideas. It looks like Turk will be back shortly.
The other idea one is kind of a very, I don't want to say generic because that's not what I mean, but a very classic TTRPG setup, and the first idea is like completely different. Oh no. Well, we did some great talking in the meantime. Let's switch to intermission real quick, and we'll be back as soon as we have all of our judges together.
Hello, and welcome back to Iron GM. We have reestablished contact with our judge, Turk, and we're ready for an interview with Ash and Rabbit.
Hey, that's me.
All right. Just to make sure, Turk, you're doing all right.
I'm
The
okay.
zombies might have broke through.
It's temporary. Well, it's fine now. No bites.
Are you safe though?
Well, yes.
Okay. Well,
Turk, I'm scared to ask, is it your blood or someone else's blood?
You know, well, it's undeterminable at this time. We're gonna.
we
run
won't
some
worry about
analysis.
that now. We got more important things. Ash, tell us about your one job.
Cool. All right. Name to be determined, but basically I thought, wouldn't it be fun if the players were zombies themselves? So the idea is that they start off in the middle of this fight with the necromancer, and it's very obvious that they're going to lose. There's like no way to get out of it, and they have like maybe a round of combat with this thing before they're just instantly killed. The players are then able to narrate like what it's like in the afterlife for them, and then mid-description for the last person, they're reanimated and brought back, and the necromancer's like, hey buds, sorry, this is the only way I meet people, so I need your help with something. So the concept is that they're going to be doing some sort of a task for them. Haven't figured out exactly what that is, but I like being able to include player narration. That's something that I've been doing with my games recently, allowing them to help figure out the story, whether that's them talking about what's coming up in travel or describing their home or whatever it is. So I'm going to let them come up with some montages of how they're training as newly undead people for this main task. Anyway, that's what I've got so far.
Like it sounds very interesting. I'm curious to see how that plays out with. I imagine most players aren't going to be too happy at the person that killed them and trying to convince them that they're nice now.
I mean, I'd like to think that the GM, whoever would be running this, would be able to let them know, like, here's the premise for it. Like, they probably know that they're going to die. They just don't know how. It's not going to be a total surprise. That would be a complete dick move.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see where you take this. I mean, I really like your ability to give the players the chance to go into their own backstory and kind of like have this moment of reflection, do a little character building, maybe even if this is a one shot, you know, and just kind of take a second to be like, maybe reflect on their life. Maybe they weren't a good person, and coming back is now this new second chance. I think we were talking about that before. There's the second chances, and you know, I think it's very cool. I like the concept, and I just really would say. At first, I was like, is this going to be a Honey Heist thing where you're undead in society and you have like brains and brains?
Brains. It's
yeah,
brains and brains.
and brains.
Oh my god, I love that. That's great.
But I think this is an incredibly charming, wonderful concept, and I expected no less. I am very much looking forward to it together.
Thanks. I figured that this could also work like in a campaign too, if someone really just wants to like throw their players for a loop. Very obviously seek consent first, like, are you okay with your PCs dying? And then very likely like coming back, because I also figure the reward for helping this necromancer is they will reinstate them to their previous, you know, living state and not a decomposing body that's been chilling in their tower for like 6 weeks. So
Or behind their plastic sheet.
Yeah, see, like that. Exactly.
You know, I keep telling them I'll feed them eventually, but they get so tasty sometimes. It's good. They're doing sprints back and forth. It's good exercise.
Cool.
We're on a little bit of a tighter schedule, but Proper, do you have any questions?
Do you see this to be a one shot or slip this into a campaign somewhere?
I can see it as either or.
Depending on the tenacity
Depending on
of
the
players.
situation. Yeah. Like if you feel like you're comfortable enough with your players to be able to
get away
offer
with
them
this.
the opportunity, to just die and come back. This might also be a really great point if you've been talking with a player who wants to bring in a new PC to just let them still chill with this necromancer. and then have them have an opportunity to bring in a brand new character. I don't know. I see several opportunities in which this would work.
Okay. Well, keep on going. You have written way more than I realized, so go ahead and keep on writing.
Thanks. I'm surprised too. All right. See you later.
We'll
Bye.
call you back in about 5 minutes for the next ingredient.
Okay, tight.
That's the.
Well, I'm gonna call in Luca.
Hi.
You didn't do the hand waves. You're all right. You're
Hold
good.
on. I'm sorry. I had you turned all the way down. Hi.
Hello. Hi, Luca.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good. Just, going like crazy.
Looks
Everything's
like
fine. Yeah.
Tell us about your one shot. Tell us what's happening over in.
Okay, so things are still forming. But I lucked out by striking upon some really cool art, which is honestly how I come up with my best ideas. I find art or maps, I'm like, here we go. But I had this idea of this race of undead that used to be very similar to sea elves. They were led by a god or goddess. She is now transformed or fallen to a new form, and now they are much more of an undead sea-dwelling race. However, it's not in the typical like mermaid sense or, you know, the Harry Potter lake kind of thing. This is an entire race of people, each with their own variations and forms. I give away? I'm still working a little bit. I want to hold back on the mystery behind what's going on with the goddess. But you start out needing to travel to Kolkagas, which is the land that was once theirs, in search of something. I'm still working on it. And you have to go and speak to a character there called Agar. And this is where, I mean, this is going to be pretty horror intense, so this is where I insert a little bit of humor. This character talks in the third person. They'll try and sell you a timeshare on their extremely fancy houseboat, but they are the only one able to book you passage to where you need to go. So you need to hook up with them at the port, and they can book you passage there. So that's what I have so far.
Yeah, I like the mystery. I like this kind of grander mythos you're building for these people. Can I take a guess? Was she caught in an transitional state because the landscape which they use on the basis of her magic has shifted?
You know what? Not everything I do has to have an environmental.
I'm just
I can branch out. I'm definitely not doing that now.
I'm just
I
asking.
didn't know
as someone
where
who
this was
recently read
going
Elantris.
because I was like,
Turn
is
off
this
the
gonna be?
whales,
Is this
Turn
gonna
off your
be?
water when you brush your teeth.
I thought you were gonna start making a joke about Brando Sando or some shit.
I mean, certainly wasn't my initial intention. I totally didn't just finish Elantris.
It's fine. It's fine.
But I love the art. Like, the fact that you had two pieces of art that looked like they could definitely be the same person in two different states.
Well, I found the first one, and it was like, okay, I need to try and find a sea witch, and it's just like, I'm finding nothing. And then it was like, I found that, and it was like, yep,
that's not just a
Here we
sea
go.
witch. That's mommy Fulu territory. It's great.
Sea witch. Yeah, all of these terms really just don't do things justice. I'll have to come up with a name. I've been going crazy on the name generator.
It's always good. Definitely. I was curious though if I could ask a question. Cool Kagas, Agro Chaos, and Nitha Laura, like where are you finding what are you using to generate these names? Or
I am literally going. It's fantasynamegenerators.com.
I was going crazy. Like, What does
But like
Coca mean?
You're gonna have to knock a few
honestly
points
looked up
off of style.
Necropolis name generators, and again, it just took me there. I looked up Sea Elf City name generator, and again, it just took me there. They all lead back there. So no matter what you Google to generate, if you need a fantasy name or science fiction, they'll just take you back there.
I love it. I like the flavor we're creating here with the world you're making. It's great. I'm very excited to see where this spooky journey into Undeath goes.
Mm-hmm.
You scared and ready for the next ingredient?
I think it's time for it. I'm gonna call Ash in here and we can figure out what the added element is. We have to go to the hand wavy. No, we got it. Hello, Ash.
I see you doing cool karate moves.
Karate moves. Yep, cool. That's how you know things are going down. All right. So you guys have had a little over 20 minutes since our little technical snafu, but we should be good from here on out. So now it is time for the added element. From tasty treats to colorful confectionery, this added element can offer a nice break for our players, or perhaps it's a special recipe made by an enemy. Whether it's a cake, a cookie, or even ice cream, today's added element is dessert. So,
I love it.
do with that as you wish, and we'll see where that takes you. Good luck. I'll give you guys about 50 minutes, and then call one more of you in for interviews and continue on till the twist. So, good luck.
Ash is happy and Luca is so pissed right now.
It's gonna be okay.
No,
Hold a
it's
bake
fine.
sale.
It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, hold a
it's
bake
fine.
sale,
I
Luca.
actually I've got ideas. But yeah, okay. Dessert. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
Chocolate cake.
It's a bake sale for undead rights.
I am very excited this next ingredient. I think, oh gosh, the undead British Bake Off could definitely occur in one of these scenarios, and I'm very excited.
My goodness.
That's the real quest that the necromancer has for you. Is he needs chefs to be in his enclave for the Iron Undead GM chef.
You see, no, they're going to be presented as creations at the
Iron Necromancer. Oh,
at
no.
Iron Necromancer. No, and it's just like I like what you've done with these adventurers, but they have soggy bottoms.
It's just like the key ingredient for today, clerics. And it's just a bunch of dead clerics, and they have to raise the one that they want.
Oh, see, there you go. There's,
I can
plenty of
see
time
that this
for a
necromancer
hard
has
fish.
chosen to sous vide his cleric.
Interesting, yeah. Going for a gelatinous feel. That's very good, very good. Trying to incorporate family trauma. Interesting.
Corndog, I appreciate you more than I ever have before with your Rebirth by Chocolate.
The Undeath by Chocolate is
Undeath
also
by
very
Chocolate's
good.
also pretty good. They're both.
They're both delicious. But yeah, like this, I feel has been one of the toughest hardballs. Well, I'm kind of probably blowing up the idea I actually threw in myself a whole bunch. But like,
I was going to say that it was someone here who had suggested it.
Well, I think it's a big non sequitur in regards to where a lot of people's heads go with Undeath, and it's, I think, a mistake for rather anybody is assuming that the dessert has to be a cutesy addition to the one shot.
I did throw in the idea that it's made by an enemy because I didn't want to spell it out exactly, but I definitely had the thought of like a swamp hag making this is going to be my dessert, and I'm going to put some brains and some guts and some worms in there. And like, that's a dessert. I mean, I wouldn't eat it, but it's a dessert.
I mean, what really is a dessert? Some people try to be quirky on their first date and order dessert first. Does that make it an appetizer because you're having it before dinner? Does that then make the mozzarella sticks you have after your main meal dessert?
It's ice cream before dinner, an appetizer. I think yes.
I think we need to go further down this rabbit hole. Proper, please weigh in.
I mean, I guess it has dairy in it, so it's similar to cheese. You can get a Parmesan flavored ice cream.
Can I get an ice cream and wine platter?
You can get anything you put your heart to.
Here's yes. So you'll see here we have
this is a charcuterie board with ice cream, chocolate chips.
Right, yeah, you see we have homemade sprinkles.
The
on the
problem
side
is
here,
with the
pie
charcuterie
gelée.
board of ice cream, it would just be like scoops of ice cream on a wooden board and just a splattering of random chocolate sauce, just to make it look classy.
Just a little bit, and you get the sprinkles in a bowl to apply as you like.
Put little gummy bears in like a little tiny jar on the side.
You'll be wearing top hats because it's charcuterie board. That's fancy.
Asperger's only.
We've gotten a little off track, but you know what? I'm never going to complain about talking about dessert.
No, yeah, please go off.
I was just mad that we didn't get a chance to throw in a let's hope they get there just desserts.
I feel like always say at the beginning, I'm never happy with my writing, and you've proven the thing that I should have wrote right there.
Anyway, the undead have ice cream for dessert. God damn it, people. The chat is going wild right now.
Trelema, you have come into this chat and immediately started swinging. Like, my goodness.
Well, I think it would be interesting to see. I feel like because it's an ingredient in the show, it has to be kind of critical to the story, or at least the kind of world that they're building. I think Luka could easily put it in somewhere as an introduction to the culture that she is trying to establish in her one-shot. Not totally sure what we're going to do with Ashes, but if it ends up being the Great British Necromance off, like, I won't say no to that.
My goodness. So the necromancer that you have to help is like, I'm in a competition and I need some help.
Listen.
You guys be my sous chefs?
Yeah, exactly. And I think because we have the serious and the goofy, we could definitely see both sides. I just like keeping up this page that we're on right now for a little bit, just to watch the contestants as they freak out about what the heck they're going to do. Because Luca's going through a whole face journey right now.
It's good.
The thought, the thinking faces are definitely on.
Ash seems very composed right now, and I'm a fan of this, but I can see that there's some tension there.
There's a lot of sighing happening between the both of them. Just this kind of like, but we are getting progress on both ends here. I am seeing a lot more handouts. Cave of Horrors has appeared. The Isle of Graves. A lot of good stuff. Crystal Swords. Ooh.
Yeah, Luca's just going down the rabbit hole of art.
My goodness, yeah, that could be your dessert there, crystal candy. Tastes delicious. Uncommon. That's how it makes them an uncommon magical item. They taste amazing. What do we have with Ash?
And crystal candy, like rock candy. Swords.
Rock. Yep. Oh my goodness, absolutely. And you can regrow it and it breaks.
I do really appreciate we've gotten a hot NPC from basically both contestants, which is a TPK staple.
I feel like it might just be a TTRPG staple at this point.
It feels like it's hard to get an ugly NPC picture off of Pinterest. Just
at the end of the day, we're all horny bards. It's okay.
Well, he's definitely horny because he's probably a tiefling. But I know, don't put your hand in your face, because then I'll try and do the same thing, and I'm going to get this ketchup all over it, and then I'll have to lick my fingers for the rest of the
Ketchup?
episode.
What? I thought it was blood.
I don't know what you're talking about. What's a fourth wall? I only have one wall here.
And it's a plastic sheet.
It's a plastic sheet, certainly not a green screen. Just feel like there's a lot of action back here. The more I focus on one zombie face, the more I just kind of have to, like,
Or you realize that there's another one next to it.
Well, yes, but it's like, what are they doing? You know, what was the guidance?
I've
Why
had a
can't they get through the
sudden,
plastic shield.
I've had a sudden and terrible realization
Yes.
that if anybody eats an undead in one of these one shots, I will once again walk out of the studio. I don't want undead desserts.
Undead pie.
I don't want to just be thinking about Sweeney Todd. Yeah, no. I don't want to eat any fingers. I don't want any of that nonsense.
But it's finger food.
Oh no. Just
Mhm.
leave now.
Creme brulee.
I like creme.
I'm trying to work in some more stuff, but
I think we're really reaching it because I think Try nailed it with the ice cream to start with.
ice cream was amazing, absolutely fantastic. Like, no notes from there, but yeah, it's a curveball, and I don't think there's been a direct call out. We are seeing more NPCs on Luca's side with a Vera, and Vera's got a blade, which has an arm as the hilt. I love it. A little gore there as a heads up to our viewers if we're going to look at that handout. But it is like a forearm leading to a bone as a handle. Oh, we're getting maps. We're getting maps from Ash and Rabbit. But it looks very neat. This just goes to show, if you see a cool item on your perusals of the internet, always try and grab something. Oh, blood pudding. Why didn't we think of blood pudding? Come on, guys.
Ah, damn it. To be fair, blood pudding is savory, not sweet.
Well,
It's not a dessert.
Get it right.
in this case, I suspect it would be it'd be a bit sweeter.
Blood pudding is a sausage.
Well,
This
you can get your
comes
blood
to
from
you
wherever
straight
you like.
From the host of Hats Off to Bake Off, an amateur baking podcast.
Look. But we do have a lovely map that I might need to steal for other things happening later on in the week at some point. Because that is a beautiful garden. I'm loving this. I'm curious, though, what this is going to do. We got some... Any other people seeing some notes? I'm not sure what's been added on.
There's literally so many notes on Luca's page right now, I'm not sure what to look at anymore.
Oh, wow. Skelly Jelly. Hey. There we go. I'm looking forward to the explanation on that. I'm going to assume I'm going to assume it's going to be like a gelatinous cube style thing with skeletons within.
I really hope so. I do hope.
Yeah. But yeah, it could really I'm very much looking forward to this. Let's see. With Ash, we got the new map. We also have a fetch quest for a cow that Aerith will revive. This will be for undead milk. Slightly spoiled, there's a sweet hint of death on it. Are they making a cake?
I think so. I think that's where it's going. Looks
Oh
like.
my goodness.
I do like, if that is the case, I do like that it is a little bit like you're not going to realize what's happening until you're a little too far into the quest to turn back.
I am seeing a little bit more characterization with Aerith, the reanimator, as not completely evil person, but just feels like he can only connect to people who are dead.
So really, this could easily fall down the rabbit hole and just be a therapy session with Aerith and his relationships with the living.
You mean the Ashen rabbit hole?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Well, we are getting close to time to pull someone in for another interview.
I will be interested to ask them how they're working with this new ingredient.
Oh, real quick before we transition, because we haven't gotten this question from chat yet.
Oh.
What's everyone's favorite desserts?
Oh, I got that one. That one's easy.
Oh, really? What you got?
Lemon meringue pie.
Oh, really?
I like it.
Like really tart lemon meringue pie, or
yeah,
more traditional?
Good meringue though. But yes, it is my that is my birthday treat. I don't get cake. I get lemon meringue pie.
Good to know, Turk.
For my birthday in like spring and summer, it's got to be the cheesecake, New York style cheesecake. In the fall though, I'm gonna transition and say carrot cake. That is some good shit, especially if you do it homemade. You can candy your own carrots. Tastes amazing. I will never complain about.
You're gonna outdo the baker of the channel. I'm very impressed by this.
I do it once a year. It's like a coven spell.
My go-to has always been the Napoleon, which is millefeuille custard, and then frosting on top. Chef's kiss. I made it once, and I'll never make it again because it's annoying as hell to make. Speaking of hell, shall we talk to one of our players?
Sure. Let's grab Luka first, and we can grab Ash second, just to mix it back up.
I'll get some great suggestions in chat. S'mores, brownies, snickerdoodles, pumpkin bread. Oh, so many good things, guys.
I feel like I should be on remember to like and comment. Tell us in the comments your favorite desserts and your favorite undead.
If you like any of the desserts we listed, ring that bell.
Just smash that like button.
No one rings the bell.
Make sure you
smash that creme brulee.
Make sure you hit confirm when you unsubscribe. No.
All right, are we gonna start going to hand gestures?
I begin.
The summoning begins.
Wait, Ash sees it.
Ash sees it, but it's not for Ash.
Do we resort to the next step? Is the handout gonna need to pop up?
Yeah, hand up. She's gonna have the music muted, so.
I'm like.
Are we going?
There we go. Hold on.
Yeah,
we got her. I think.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Hi.
No, you're good.
You're good. How's it going?
Hi. It's going.
See a lot more handouts. Like a crazy amount of handouts.
Like somebody's been scrolling a little bit too long on their favorite art sites.
No, I'm literally just scrolling Google. But also, rather than create actual characters and whatnot, I'm just doing it all as handouts because it's just
Smart.
Makes sense. What has it developed? We see a lot of new ones.
So we now have the reason why you have been sent on this journey, which is there is rumored to be a tomb that holds the body of the fallen goddess, in which grows a very special crystal candy, almost an edible sort of undersea crystal that you have been sent on to retrieve. It is supposedly has a multitude of magical qualities, and is highly sought after, rumored over. It's a thing of legend. And so you are sent to find this tomb to gain this candy, essentially this rock candy, and of this goddess. So that is what you are doing. We now have that, as well as I just happened to find some rock candy swords that you can have as loot should the party actually make it to this cave. We have another NPC. So once you actually arrive at the kind of necropolis, this land that used to belong to these elves, you can then travel, and you will come across the Isle of Graves, which has many of the fallen of this once proud nation. It was once a beautiful cemetery, with remnants of what used to be parts of their city. And it is now just an old, haunted place of memory, which you could potentially come across some of them. I also changed the name. I felt it was a little easier to say the Rivenor rather than whatever I had before as the name of this race of people. But yeah, the big thing though is that on your journey you will come across the Cave of Horrors, which is very much going to have sort of mind effects, mostly dealing with fear and conquering that, because I watched this really cool thing about horror movies and how they all essentially key into a particular fear that one has. So like Oculus' fear of losing your mental capacity, things like that. So I thought it would be interesting to have a whole cave dedicated to that idea of like interacting with horror one-on-one, and facing your characters like fears, and seeing how they deal with that, whether they fight it or just overcome it. But somewhere within the Cave of Horrors is a creature. Her name is Vera. And she could be reasoned with, talked to, or fought, but she is in possession of a map that can lead you to the tomb. She also has a really cool sword, should you talk her out of it, or fight her and take it, which I don't know if you can see it.
Gore warning once again.
It will grip your arm when you fight with it, which just seems so cool. Who knows where she got it? Apparently some Death Knight. According to this small text, don't bother reading that. Pay no attention. But I just thought that was really cool. And then obviously mixing in more of the dessert kind of sweeties, bake sale element. I've kind of thought that it would be fun to have a little bit of a pun or a puzzle to throw at your players, where the map talks about a room full of marrow moose, and in that room is where you can find the entrance to the tomb. And at some point, if they're wandering around this cave system, they can come across a room with these giant glowing like glass bowls, and there's just skeletons climbing out of them and everywhere. Skelly jelly. So
The number of puns in this particular episode is astronomical.
It's always high. Don't forget.
yeah.
Well, I want to make sure we're cognizant of your time, so you get more time to work. So we're gonna give you. Thanks for sharing that. I actually have questions, but again, want to give you time to work on it, and we're gonna give you about 5 minutes. We're gonna interview Ash, and then we'll call you back for the final twist.
All right.
All right. Good luck, and I'll message Ash now.
Isle of Graves art is the kind of thing where I'm like, that's so pretty, and then someone will reveal that it's actually just an AI generation of like a Danny DeVito picture.
I just heard something about Danny DeVito. What's going on?
I don't think you don't want to know. You do not want to know.
Tell me more about this undead cow.
Oh, okay. Well, the intent with that is that really all that Aerith, the reanimator, is trying to do is gain enough friends to celebrate their birthday with them.
Oh.
So the cow is there so that they can have this milk to make a cake. Instead of just going and getting it because it'll spoil, why not have an undead cow? Why not? I don't know. It's all part of the ploy.
It's gonna go around and do a bunch of tasks and then find out it was just to make himself a birthday cake.
Yeah.
Oh no. It's
Breaks
too
my
cute.
heart, Ash. It's too cute.
Listen, I love like cool dark horror stuff and like undead necromancy and stuff. I love it. I will play in that wholeheartedly. Can I get that out of my brain into like something cool and dark and creepy? No, it's gonna turn into a fucking birthday cake for a necromancer.
Listen, it takes all types.
It's
Correct.
so wonderfully just like it's exactly like a very great characterization of like, I don't have friends, I'm gonna go kill people and raise them up and make them make me a cake so I feel a sense of community. It's the kind of like demented logic you expect from a D&D or fantasy villain who's bad at connecting with people. That kind of magic just exists in the world. You know, I have this tower that people keep breaking into, thinking there's treasure in here. I might as well make use of it.
Exactly.
My one social encounter a month. Please don't ruin this for me.
So how much more work do you got to do you think before you're finished up?
Oh God. Well, considering I don't even know how much time is left. I didn't get a timer on at all.
You have 20 minutes. 20 minutes after this next thing goes.
Well, then I've got about 20 minutes more left of work to do.
Are you concerned about the twist?
Not really. Not really. The way that I have it set up right now is that you start off with a party that gets killed, gets reanimated. The necromancer's like, hey, I need you to run some errands for me. Can you like help set up more barricades? Because I just need more bodies than anything. And it just so happens to be that you guys are quality bodies. So go do things for me and then help protect the tower because more adventurers are going to come. And one of the last encounters is the players working to defend this tower from more adventurers, including protecting the kitchens because they're baking a goddamn cake.
It's gonna be like the siege in the two towers, you know, and standing at the wall and they're retreating further and further and further back in, and like, let this be the hour where we draw swords together, except someone's like, excuse me, coming behind. You know,
This be the hour we draw spatulas together.
Yes.
Exactly. So whatever the twist may be, I feel like it might be able to fit in well with there because there's going to be different stages of, hey, defend the main floor. Oh, it's fallen. Fall back to the next floor. Hey, this is where the kitchens are. Protect the goddamn kitchens. And if the adventurers get past you, just barricade it if you can. And next portion is the top of the tower. So if there's anything that I can slip in there, it's probably going to be there.
For my coming, I will be bringing presents. And I've got like 3 people in my car, so, you know, that's kind of a party starter.
I have party hats and kazoos. Let's fucking go.
I mean, yeah, literally Gandalf's showing up. There's your entertainment. He's a wizard.
Yeah, all right.
He hired a magician, but he doesn't have anyone else, and if they don't hang out, it's going to be a guy doing tricks for a necromancer.
That's so sad. I love it.
Just a guy making balloons out of intestines.
Oh, gross.
They're
Nasty.
undead. What else are they going to make them out of?
Probably that. Probably just that.
We'll kill this birthday clown.
Oh no. It's not even like an adventurer. It's just a clown who got lost.
Just like, how old are you? 504. Oh, okay.
Oh no.
These
Yeah,
jokes are a
very
little out of date.
That's great. Why is
Don't
that
you-
so good?
Don't you hate when the 4th king of Escanor is increasing taxes again? It's like, dude, what the...
You're all a bunch of fucking nerds. Let me just say that real quick.
We're on a TTRPG game
I hate
show.
to break this to you, but you are also a nerd.
Yeah, but somehow
You're
you're,
a proper
worse.
one.
Worse.
Do we have any other questions for Ash?
Not anything relevant at the moment. I think you've
You've
got a
been
great
through this
concept. and-
before. Are there any elements of judging that you're scared of?
I don't think so. Not
Or
really.
Judge you on exploration, social, combat, narrative, note, style, and use of ingredients. You think you're nailing it in all those aspects right now?
Not really. I'm sure there's things that I'm forgetting.
At least she's
But-
honest.
Yeah, I'm here for a good time. Maybe not the 100% correct time, but let's go.
I was going to say I'm here for a good time, and the undead are here for a long time.
This is also true.
If you become undead, you can be here for a long time.
Pros and cons to that situation, I'd say. Are we about
Right.
to reveal the
Yeah, I'm
TPK
gonna
twist?
call Luka in, and I'll get ready to reveal the twist. Luka? Yeah? Luka?
Yes.
Hi.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Good. All right. Are you ready for the twist, both contestants?
Oh, I forgot about the twist.
Well,
Okay. Yeah,
Like
It's
it
gonna
or
be
not.
okay.
here it comes. Oh, the party does not know what the party does not know. Where will they go? I do not know. The party doesn't know. Oh! Today's twist is Old Bitey strikes again. Please incorporate an NPC that will sing a silly song and harkens to plot elements.
Incredible.
Good luck.
Once again,
I'm sorry.
Ash is happy with this twist, and Luca's fucking pissed.
Why would you bring old Bitey into this? Why would you do this to us?
Just, nobody stopped me.
Oh,
I believe in you,
How
Luca.
dare.
It's gonna be okay. Okay, bye.
Old Bitey, for those who are unfamiliar, is from our oh my god, I said almost said frozen, right? Cold fires,
Cold hands.
cold
warm
hands,
hearts.
warm hearts. I wanted to go say darkest
just-
night, brightest light, but like
I just wanted to
That's
sit here and
thoughtful.
wait and watch his character
Cold-
struggle.
cold fire, heart,
Cold farts, warm hands.
Remember,
they-
if it's an HP campaign, it's always adjective, noun, adjective, noun.
So Old Bitey is a character from Cold Hands, Warm Hearts, and they are a animatronic. Well, they're a magically animated fish, akin to a singing bass, that had some appearances outside of
At
outside of
show
the
even.
campaign into Total Party Recap back in the day. A nefarious villain, a real rapscallion.
There were some kidnappings.
There's some kidnapping, some agings, some doppelganging. You know, a lot of stuff going on there. Old Bitey, but this is a wild concept. It's a major throwback for our TPK vets in the chat here. But I think both of them should be able to handle it. Lucas definitely has some spots where comedy can work their way in. The NPC that was going to share a houseboat could definitely be singing.
That would, that could be a really interesting way to
You're-
incorporate that in. A
your
song about a timeshare sounds
Mhm.
very silly.
Or just singing on the boat ride, and then having.
What
a
I kind of really
relatively,
want, I want one of the skeletons from the Skelly Jelly to sing to them. Because then that's like, he can sing about their travails through the dungeon.
Oh, there you go. Someone could be singing about all the horror that they experienced, or
Nobody knows the troubles I've seen.
I mean, we've also very nearly established a clown character in Ash's one-shot, and if it makes it into the final cut of the one-shot, I blame Turk.
Good. That would make me nothing would make me happier than a number of singing clowns entertaining a lonely necromancer.
Oh god, not one clown, but we have a whole ensemble of singing clowns
Of
now.
course not. You need the whole damn circus.
They come out of a really small horse carriage.
Yeah, there you go.
It's got a single pony.
It's the carriage for Curse of Strahd, but just
Welcome to the Paradise Raiders, who have come for the most cursed conversation on Twitch right now.
It's
I don't know if
Strahd's
I'd say
turn, but like
that.
there's just it's very tiny, and so all the clowns just start rolling out of it, and like because they're already undead, they can just like detach or like put their bones back into
Undead
place.
clowns. What's not to love?
An undead
We're going.
ogre jelly
This
clown.
this is straight out of like early 2020, when people just started dressing up as clowns in the woods to freak people out.
What a time!
What a time to be
It
alive,
was
y'all.
wild.
Remember that brief thing where the producers tried to say, let's introduce murder hornets, and then the audience was like, no thanks, and they disappeared?
Yeah, don't
Good
worry,
times.
they're bringing those back. It's one of those like slow burns.
Oh,
it's gonna
no.
come back in like the
It's-
next season finale.
It's up there with the wild boars that can teleport and attack your children in your backyard. But unfortunately, it's becoming more and more of a real issue. I don't know. You can look it up. But it's actually a thing. There's an increasing wild boar population in the United States. I wish I was joking. But back to the contestants. I think... I
how
think you're
are we-
both... Yeah,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
No.
I was
I know.
gonna
I
say,
think,
how are we feeling about both of them? Where they're gonna go? I'm just gonna take over and just
Good.
to ask the question.
Oh, you're going to be the host again? Okay,
yeah,
I
I'm gonna
see.
be the host again.
Ah,
I'm gonna
gotcha.
take my hat back on. I throw it away every time after I give off the little speech. What are you guys thinking? They're going to like how do you think they're gonna wrap these up? I mean, we're at like 15 minutes left at this point. Do you think they're gonna be able to get everything completed and get like a cognitive story written down? Do you
You
think
know, I
anything's-
thought that Ash was doing a good job of like with a very clear storyline, and then she started going off about how like the siege at the castle would be the big final hurrah, and that could be 3 hours of planning right there, just planning that moment. I mean, obviously she can kind of leave it open because it's a show, but like you could probably go really into detail about how this whole event takes place. This could be 4 sessions worth of content if you really want to go into it.
Yeah, but I think you can also squeeze it down into one if you want.
But I mean, I think because she's really leaning into kind of the comedic elements of her one shot, it'll be fine. I just all of a sudden, like at the end, at the end of her interview, she started to tell us about like 7 different things she had cooked up, and I was like, that's a lot to do in the next 15 minutes.
yeah.
As for Luka, she has a lot of like lore to build into her one shot that she does really well in her own campaigns, but I'm worried might get a little trim as she tries to put it all into the Roll20. And so
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much will be ready as she had hoped to have planned, as she'd hoped to have done by the time she completed. You see what I mean?
Yeah, she definitely has a lot of lore and story and kind of broad stroke plans. I'm kind of interested to see if she gets that finer brush onto what's happening in the story and how you're going to be guided through it. It looked like she was doing that with the last conversation with a little bit more of the why you're going and the journey. I'm kind of interested to see what it's going to be at the end, as maybe she kind of finishes out some more of those finer details in there. Your thoughts, Tur?
Definitely worried that Luca's got a lot of lore and she still needs to kind of put it together. I think she can handle it. I think she's got her setting set. I think she's got her exploration elements in regards to the Isle and getting there, and then within the kind of initial cave system. I also see Laura's tomb has been added here, so I'm thinking we're getting into a boss fight. One of those. It's going to be a dungeon more akin to a long trek journey with emotional and bargaining traps rather than anything more trappy and break you down with fights. But like. Oh, imagine a character fighting their fears in a cave. Your weapons, you will need them not.
I knew where you were going. I saw. I don't know if you saw it, but I gave you we had a nod when that came up.
Oh no, I was muted. It's okay. I was just saying that Luka may or may not have stolen my idea of facing your fears. When I forced her character to face her own fears in my Dare Electric Ghost Lines one shot. But I really dug into that idea because I thought it was a really cool one, so I really can't knock any points off because it's a great idea to to really enforce collaborative role playing with your characters, with the players on stream, but also it just fits the whole genre of the one shot. I do kind of worry that she might be putting a little bit too much humor by making the big fetch quest item to be candy
sword,
and you're like, this feels like you'll get to the end of a deep dark horror one shot and then be like, so that was it, that was the big thing. So I would be concerned as a player playing that, but I think she probably has some good ideas working on it. I think if she can convince me that the candy isn't just there because it's an element and that it actually works with the rest of the story, I will be okay with it. But if she's like, oh, but I used it just because it was the ingredient, then I'll be like, well, yes, but also it's supposed to push you to make a great one shot, not force you to change something because it's required. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
I think there are elements of, when we think of a horror movie or darker campaigns, things with, death, destruction, other things, a comedy I find can be a welcome addition, and there is sprinklings of it. This isn't 100% a horror campaign, and she did mention one of her first NPCs the players will contact will be trying to sell them a timeshare. So this is, I think, tension, break. I think there is something to giving your players reprieves every once in a while, and even building into, going and trying to slay the undead body of a goddess with a candy sword. It feels like the kind of horror that we'd see in kind of a Adventure Time, where the aspect of horror is still there regardless of the elements if it's pulled off well. Which, I'd be very interested to see if Luka can do. It's that kind of juxtaposition. Oh my gosh, words! Juxtaposition of elements. With, this candy sword is going to put down an undead goddess that has corrupted an entire race of people. That it's crazy.
But it's a setup. It's the fact that if she sets it up that way, it's fine. But if she sets it up as like a dark, gritty horror one shot, and then that's the conclusion, it feels off. So it definitely could work. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, it's the difference between like a tonal change, like a hard tonal shift, and having the kind of reprieves built in for your characters to, Cave of Horrors.
Listen, it is the semifinals. We gotta be rough and tough on these semifinalists. So I'm gonna be nitpicky.
Oh, absolutely.
Your one shot is underproved and overbaked.
Oh my goodness. It's got a soggy stat line.
It's not worth the calories.
I
really should have said it's not worth the experience points. Damn it. That would have been good.
Oh, it's good.
Looks like Ash is one with the new map.
Yes, I am seeing some big Dark Crystal vibes. I thought I was honestly on Luka's page, given how Alora's tomb is in the final handout. I was getting very excited that this was but then I realized, oh wait, wrong page. So yeah, it looks like we're getting set up for some. This is the start. This is their big climactic battle they start on, where they'll be turned into undead. I think it'll be interesting to see if she includes any interesting tags to throw on in regards to characters becoming undead and how their sheet might change a bit, giving them some resistances to damage and seeing how that combat can play out. I know it's mostly been kind of a fun romp around and figuring out an NPC. But I'd be very interested to see how she incorporates and works these elements into an actual fight. With the holding off of the kitchen, what kind of mechanics are we looking at there? Is this going to be a free form, or are we going to get some, ways for players to incorporate what they found and what they can now do? Your body's undead; it won't fatigue. It's a little slovenly and gross, but you don't have to worry about tiring as much as another person or something else. I think there's a lot of room for mechanically interesting things that Asheville can implement that I hope we get, and it's not just keep your character sheets, you just are zombies. Because I think that would be a missed opportunity.
How much time do we have left, Purple?
There's a little bit over 5 minutes. We're at about 6 minutes right now.
Okay. For the other judges, is there any elements of our judging that you're concerned for either of the players? I kind of asked this to one of them. I asked this to Ash. Are you thinking about any of them as being a little low right now?
Handouts wise, I am a bit concerned with Ash, given that it really is notes and then brain dump. But that's definitely something that we know Luka is strong coming into.
Yeah, I think there's an interesting juxtaposition there too, because Ash has a lot of text written down there, whereas Luca's is mostly a lot of images. So it's kind of it's going to be a little bit of a style choice on those. But yeah, there is a lot more just pure content with the number of images Luca has down there with little blurbs, as well as Luca looks like she did make her song. I don't know if she found it online, but there is a little limerick. I'm kind of excited to see her sing that, so I don't want to read it out yet. But yeah.
I also, you can see that she's adding in creatures. We have some Rivenors, we got Banshees, got a Boarhag, lots of good cold undead. If the theming about the Rivenor being a fallen race.
I switched over to our judges only one because Luke had frozen, and so we'll see what happens.
Still not lined up with the judges one though.
Yeah, no, because we don't have enough people right now. But do you want to go to intermission for the last 5 minutes, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, let's do a quick intermission and see how that works for us. We'll be back quick. Hello. Welcome back to IRGM. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we're taking a little bit of an intermission, and we're going to give our contestants 4 minutes to continue their work and wrap up. So with that, contestants, if you're ready, the time will begin. You may go. All right. So, yeah, we had about 4 minutes on the clock when Luca dropped. We grabbed Ash and kind of worked everything out. So plan is they'll have 4 minutes to wrap up here, and then we will move on to our judging, or at least our contestants telling us about their one-shots. Kind of already ended up with a little bit of an intermission, so we'll be skipping and foregoing that after the time has been declared, just as a heads up and information.
Guys, ready for this? I've come up with my post-intermission pun. It's really a sad thing that Luca Locke's internet had died, but we've brought it back to life. Okay. Just had to say that real quick.
Well done.
Just so everyone can hate me. Yeah, that's the appropriate response, Ragalot. Thank you.
No, I was
undead internet. Good.
Mm-hmm.
I also do really need to call out, because we have like 1 minute to do nothing. That the little guy above me, he's just a little sleeping skull on a grave. He's just a little cutie.
He's got a little nightcap.
He's got a little nightcap on.
First I thought it was a Santa hat, and then I'm like, no, it's probably a nightcap.
Death cap.
Death cap. Ooh. That's
spooky.
Ooh. No, I think 4 minutes. I mean, there's plenty you can get done, especially working at the pace that a lot of our contestants do. There's a lot they can achieve. I'm seeing cold hard focus on both their faces right now, going into the final minutes here.
Half of the 4 minutes has just about passed already.
I mean, I feel bad because
banter.
For someone who struggles to focus, like getting back into the headspace is going to be the hardest part for both of them. But I think they hopefully will have kind of had an idea what they're doing anyway, so they can.
I think Ash is pretty focused, and Luka looks like she's fueled up pure adrenaline at this point, which I can understand. As someone who's had technical issues recently, man, nothing gives you more adrenaline than just being angry at your machine.
Oh no, I'm bad. I just shut down. If my computer stops working, I stop working.
It's going to be interesting. I like the maps that we've gotten from Luka thus far. A lot of some mad cartographer stuff. Definitely very cool. And it'll just be a matter of seeing how she implements it. And for Ash, I mean, same handouts and everything. I think we might get obviously an update when she hits save, but I don't know. I feel like she has a solid concept. It's just about bringing it all together. I think they both are going to be set. I just think Ash had a little bit of a leg up with an easier to conclude adventure, where Luke is going to be putting details onto the very end here and getting that, like you said, finer brush and just sweeping over. Oh gosh,
we're at less than 1 minute. I was a little late on that alarm to them.
Oh boy.
30 seconds.
It's fine. Time is a human construct, and
it happens to be one that's important.
Yeah. It's actually it matters when you're on the clock, though.
Does it though?
Yes, actually, in this timed competition.
Going down to 10 seconds right now.
9, 7, 4,
3,
8.
2, 1. That's the old that's the time.
It works every time.
Oh wait, we already had your attention. Never mind. All right. Well, that is.
Did we get Luca's attention?
I think we got Luca's attention.
Cool.
She nodded. That is time. I hope you guys were able to finish up on your one shots. That we normally would take a break here, but we kind of got a little bit of one earlier. So if you guys are ready, Ash, I think you said you would like to go first and telling us about your one shot and filling us in on all the details that maybe our interviews didn't quite get to.
Sure, no problem. So I don't really like the title of it right now, but I feel like it was appropriate for the actual theme of it. It's called I'll Cry If I Want To. Ideal for 3 to 5 players of level 5 or higher if you so choose. It can be scaled. Did I actually include combat in this? Yes. Did I include, stat blocks? No, not at all. But that's okay. So the synopsis of this is that your players, whether this is a one-shot or being inserted into a current adventure, or rather a current campaign, are in the midst of fighting a necromancer, all powerful and all knowing. They're half health, if not even lower. Most of their spell slots are gone. It's very clear that they're losing this battle. All coming to fruition with the necromancer slaying them all with a massive AoE sort of attack. The players will then be given the opportunity to narrate what happens to them in the afterlife, or rather what they think the afterlife is, allowing them a bit of closure with their PCs. But in the midst of the last person going through and talking about that, the GM will step in and say, oh, hey, by the way, you've actually been revived by this necromancer, because it's been their plan all along to look for people that can help them with something. They can poke and prod with the necromancer as much as they want, because secretly the necromancer is really lonely and just wants some friends. But for the most part, they will be told, I have a series of tasks for you, ultimately leading up to defending this tower from more adventurers like you. I more or less just need bodies to help, be acting as like cannon fodder for all this. But I happen to have found some good bodies because you guys actually know what you're doing. So they'll be instructed to help prepare the tower for the next siege. This will then grant the players some agency in this and help come up with some montage stuff. So they can either state exactly how they're helping the tower become more fortified in this. They can roam around and meet some NPCs like Sir Gregory Fletching, who has been here for 4 years as a servant of Erath, the reanimator, the necromancer here. And his whole strategy has just been to try and survive, and he hasn't. He gets reanimated every time. Or they can go to the kitchens and meet... oh my god, what's her name? I have a name. Madame Norestra the Damned, who is a human woman who has been tasked with working here in the kitchens, which is weird. Kitchens for a necromancer, and there's a bunch of undead, but Aerith still needs to eat, and so does she. Part of the task montage will also include some pre-written ones, including they need to go get some strawberries and a cow. You don't know what for until later, as well as setting up certain checkpoints for the interior. Eventually, this will lead to the siege of the tower. A whole other party will come and try to ascend the tower up to the very top, where our players once fell, in order to take on the necromancer. So there will be stages within this where they'll have to defend the main floor. They'll have to defend the kitchens, which will be nailed into their heads, and even if they want to get silly, maybe the necromancer can literally take a nail and nail it into someone's head if they wish to. That you must protect the kitchens at all costs. And ultimately falling back at each stage until the adventurers that have now sieged this tower arrive at the very top, where it's the necromancer and the party there to defend themselves. It's entirely possible that the players will die once again, but they can be reanimated, so it's okay. But they have a necromancer on their side, and hopefully they would have whittled down some of the HP and some of the energy that's being expended from these other adventurers, ultimately to try and win this battle. And it's likely that they will. The GM can kind of work it in their favor, because once they win the battle, the necromancer here will honor their initial standing here, which was, hey, I killed you because I need things to happen, and I need you to help defend this place. And if you survive and succeed, then I'll restore you back to your normal, living state. But just as they're explaining this at the end of the battle, the cook will come up from the kitchens with a little birthday cake, and the necromancer will admit that they haven't had anyone there to celebrate their birthday with them for a very, very long time, and this is their only way of meeting friends and having a party. So if anyone decides to stick around and enjoy said cake, the necromancer will be so joyously enraptured that they will happily revive everybody in the tower, and have a big old birthday party in which everyone will sing happy birthday to them. This is also a good opportunity for player characters to swap out their characters if they want to. They can choose to have them not be revived at the very end, or not have them be revived at the very beginning if they want to. They can even leave them here with the necromancer so that they can establish this as a key point for quest giving later on in the future, because now they got a necromancer buddy, and maybe one of their friends decided to stay behind too. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
I like it. Judges, any questions to start with, or I have a couple?
Oh God. Sure. Well, there's the dessert, which is the cake, which the players are being tasked with retrieving a cow so that they can have milk to bake this cake, and then strawberries, which are also on the same farm. And then the sing song is a celebratory happy birthday song at the very end, which the necromancer will be more than happy to have. And then obviously
and I assume
undead, because yeah, the players will be dead themselves. Undead, rather.
Property might be muted to stream as a heads up. But that was, thank you, Ash. It was clarifying the use of each ingredient. Now, for the song aspect, I am curious. The old Bitey, it did hint that there would be some plot relevance. Oh my gosh, plot relevance. Raggy, where's the plot relevance?
Raggy, it's the run red.
If you were zombies, if you were to be running this, I think you mentioned early on this could be a slot in for a campaign as an option. I mean, yeah, definitely giving your players a hideout, always a fun reward for a one shot. What kind, like, how would you incorporate the request to have it be kind of like foreshadowing or speaking of plot details?
I'm trying to wrap my brain around this question, and I'm just sweating profusely. So, if you could further explain,
I know there's a couple things that I read in some of your notes. I don't know if Turk read those as well, but you mentioned that, like, I think the question is more like using the songs to reference ahead of time of what's going to be happening. And I know at a couple of points you mentioned that they were going to be humming. If you want to continue,
Yeah. So sorry, the whole explanation was just kind of like, here's general points, but during the prepping montage, the GM will be instructed to have the players go and speak with the cook in the kitchens to ensure that they are protected for the siege, and then the cook will then explain the importance of the ingredients that they have been able to retrieve, namely the cow and the strawberries. And as the players enter and as they leave, they will be humming For He's a Jolly Fellow. If anything, maybe slightly off tune, so it's not immediately, detectable. But yeah, they'll be able to have that hinted. So the retrieval of those ingredients and then having the cook humming this old-timey birthday song will kind of allude to kind of what's happening with why she's even there.
Great. Fight-wise, what were you thinking? It was just be like a preparation and then, narrative handoff, kind of ask each player what they're doing, or did you have a specific system in mind when you were putting this together?
Like D&D?
Like, if not to say like, oh yes, please use the Dungeons and Dragons system, but rather like, if you were like in regards to handing this off to somebody and saying, this is obviously could be like a fun montage, just like whatever feels right for you as a DM, but like when you were thinking through the battle, what was your point of reference for how the fight should generally flow or be handled?
That's a good question. Well, there being like two major battles in this, the first one being where they don't really have much agency in what's about to happen. They're all going to die so that they can enter into this adventure. If they happen to survive, great. Then they don't get to play this. Boo-hoo. I don't necessarily know where the inspiration might have come for this, honestly. I don't know. I'm blanking. I'm sweating a lot. It's very hot here. California sucks, and I'm dying because my computer's been running all day. But
all good. Don't mean to induce sweat. Just wanted to ask. I absolutely love the concept. I think you've done a great job at making this and taking the twists and the ingredients that we gave to you and putting them into a nice it's a very nice little like fully complete quick story One last question.
Yes.
PCs,
I'll try not to sweat a lot.
Now, PCs are famously very temperamental people, and
Yes.
if you kill them, they get quite angry.
Right. That is something that I have taken account for. So at the very top of this, there is an author's note that says, you should probably talk to your players about this. Ask them if they're okay with their PCs dying, and if it needs to get to the step of you even explaining that in this next adventure that we're going to do, or hey, in this one shot that we're going to have, they're not going to stay dead. So allowing them the opportunity to understand the kind of complete whole of that versus just, hey, y'all, your characters died. Here's some really sappy moments where you get to talk about the afterlife, and then, whoa, let's say reverse that. That could lead to just a bit of a sour taste in the mouth with all these PCs, and they might not want to play in your fun secret birthday party one shot. So yeah, absolutely asking for consent for that kind of thing, and ultimately, if it needs to, letting them know that they're gonna be okay is of the utmost importance there.
Don't worry.
Take off a couple of the questions that were already asked. I would like to ask if you think you were given all these ingredients all at once instead of piece by piece. Do you think you would have come up with something similar, or do you think you would have changed how you got what you got out of it?
Let's see here. Undead, dessert, and silly song NPCs. Probably not. I had a whole other idea of like a necromancer just causing havoc for a village, and just kind of basic fantasy thing of working through a tower to get up to the necromancer. I have no idea what that could have been, nor what would have happened if all of these had been presented together. I think the formula that you have of slotting things in throughout time allows for, like, you know, a main pizza to be created. Here's some extra toppings that might go well with this, and then, oh boy howdy, here's that green bell pepper that kind of works well. Maybe some
that
pineapple. Yeah.
And here's some chocolate sauce. I hope you made it a breakfast pizza.
Yes.
Or a dessert pizza.
So now a taco pizza. Enjoy.
Another question I kind of, I guess. So we asked a little bit about, or Trick asked about your inspiration, said you weren't quite sure, but maybe if I asked maybe a little more pointed, what was your like inspiration or your idea behind making this a lonely necromancer looking for friends? I don't know. I just listening to it, there's something about the way a lot of your games are designed. You definitely like to lean towards the wholesome moments, so it was kind of a very fit with the mix of the macabre with the wholesome, which I think very much fits you. So I'm very curious, where did this come from? Was there something from another game that you played in or that you ran that you pulled this from, or was it just popped into your head out of nowhere?
I think it's a good question. I think it's a mix of things. From like my experience of playing through Curse of Strahd, but also trying to like play a relatively wholesome character throughout that, and trying to maintain that sense of integrity through a very, very dark timeline. And then, you know, other kind of mediums out there. I can't remember the name of the movie, but I think Nicholas Hoult plays a zombie who like comes back to life. I can't remember the name of it, but
oh yeah, warm bodies.
Yes, I love Warm Bodies. That was like the initial idea of, wait, they can be undead, but maybe they're trying to like become alive again. Who would do that? A necromancer. Why would a necromancer want to do this to them? Maybe he's just like wicked sad and lonely. So it kind of was just a string of ideas that was definitely inspired by this like mid-2000s movie.
I love it. Proper, do you have any other questions? I might have one more, but I'm
Yes, I have two quick questions.
Sure.
The first is, I asked you earlier about how you think you did based on our judging criteria, and you were pretty honest with me. You said, eh. And so I want to know, if you had more time, what do you think you would do to improve this one shot?
probably allow for like more exploration and better combat encounters. I've found that with this and then the previous Iron GM competition I've been able to participate in, the inclusion of like full combat encounters with stat blocks and stuff, that kind of just gets put by the wayside. I'll include in the notes like, hey, they're fighting a necromancer, and it's like, okay, well, what does that mean? I did include this necromancer is at least 5 levels over them, so build that character as you will, but that's not, I can't just hand this to someone and say, play it directly off of this page. They're not going to have anything to work off of that. So having those like pre-built stat blocks, that takes time. But that doesn't mean that there aren't generators out there, because that is a key resource for a lot of GMs, and I still have yet to find my own. But yeah, things like that, and then exploration, I kind of was very vague of allowing the players to have some agency in this. It's just something I've been doing with my games and having a lot of fun with, allowing the players to help establish the world around them. So if that means they get to come up with some things that they do to this tower to help fortify it, or maybe some fun fetch quests for their own benefit, great, include that. But does that mean that that's completely like nailed down and all players are going to be into that? No. So fine tuning is really the kind of thing that I would be looking for here.
Okay. My other question is fairly straightforward. Do you think this is actually a one-shot? Do you think you could
I think it could be.
fit this all into one session?
Into like 4 hours? Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
considering that the first combat is like one whole round. So, 30 minutes at most.
Depending on how fucking smartass your players are.
Exactly. You can never account for how just off the wall people are going to be. People that are super into roleplay.
Between the roleplay of the afterlife, and then the rebirth, and then the kind of various fetch quests, and then the big epic siege at the end, do you think you could fit this all into a 4-hour slot?
Maybe 5 hours.
I think that this is a really, really well written game, but I think this could be 3 or 4 sessions if you really wanted it to. I think this could be a really big one. I really enjoy it. I'm not going to knock off points for it being more than a one-shot, but I just wanted to say that I feel like this might be a little more involved, depending on what your players are, which players have.
So you're saying I went to the all-you-can-eat buffet and like loaded up 2 plates on accident? So whoops.
To be fair, our first Iron GM during TPKCon, one of our players basically gave us a whole campaign. So you're not that.
Oh yeah,
far
Tate's thing.
gone.
It was great. It was awesome. Are you kidding me?
That was a 12 session whatever, but. Yeah, I think this is a little more than a one-shot, but I do appreciate all the hard work you put into it.
I think that stemmed from feeling like I didn't do enough last time, so I kind of just went.
Okay.
On this one. Anyway, yes.
Let's close it off with Purple. Do you have any last questions?
I don't. I can think of it. But if no one else has any others,
Luka, do you have any questions?
Do you have any questions for Ash or any comments? Now, having just heard it.
What was your favorite part of writing it? Like, what's the thing, like, as the GM that, like, you would be excited to, like, whether it's, like, an NPC to roleplay or a place that they get to explore? What would be your thing as the GM you'd be excited about?
I like getting to be able to, like, build things out. So the portion where the players are able to, like, sit there and come up with ways to help fortify this tower, I think could get really fun and creative. It could throw like a massive wrench in the plans of this ultimately being a really fun birthday party. They could just like I included it in the notes here, but there's an NPC who has never tried to befriend the necromancer and has always just been trying to like kill everything, as assuming that that's the only way that they're gonna win. He can try and convince the players to try and take on the necromancer themselves and just like be this undead army. I think that that could be really interesting. But yeah, just throwing players into the mix and seeing what they come up with, having them, like, giving them a little bit of agency and determining what's going to happen. It's just the best. It's my favorite.
I need to add this real quick because it feels appropriate, because we've had this up for a little while. Your Arath the Reanimator is from Stephanie Brown at Offbeat Worlds. So I think we should shout out real quick because that's a really cool picture of your kind of sexy reanimator. What? Who said that?
Somebody's been at a straight
Those
wedding.
Yes.
She
yes, I
sells
was.
what is it? NPC packs. So that's from a tiefling pack. She has humans, elves, orcs. She just came out with a gnomes pack and then tieflings, and she just keeps coming out with these. You can pay like $5 and get them all. You're allowed to use them in streamed content. It's a great deal, and you get to support a really fantastic artist.
That's really cool.
Oh yeah.
Luca, thank you for that question. I really like that. Did you have another one, or? Okay, cool. And thank you, Ash, for all of your answers and your explanation of your one-shots. Very much appreciated.
I'm gonna breathe now.
Breathe, take a little pause, because Luca, it's your turn now.
Luca, do you want me to follow along with what you're saying, or do you want to bring up the handouts one at a time?
Ooh.
If you do the show to all players, we'll just be able to see them.
Yeah. If you can just, I'll show you. That's fine.
Cool.
Also, as a quick reminder, Ash, feel free to tune into the stream so that you can see what's going on. I should have said that to Luca before, and also prepare a one or two paragraph worth of sentence for how to sum up your show for the chat. And second reminder, I put it in the chat, but as a verbal one, think about which of those one shots you want to play in, or you think is cooler, or you want to vote for, because after Luca's done, there will be a vote, and that will help decide our winner. So, with nothing further, Luca, take it away. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna see how long my voice holds out. Okay, so in terms of title, it was hard. It's been hard deciding because there was the sword with the hander on it. So Sword in the Bone was really tempting. However, I think either On Sour Tides or The Candy Shanty is probably either one.
I think Turk put in one really early for you called Mama Thulu.
Oh my god.
That was made a little more cursed than that. I think it was Mommy Cthulhu. So
well, it is Mama Thulu title, but I
okay.
have no shame.
Turk's thirsting over my baddie. That's fine.
It's fine. One from each judge feels appropriate.
Okay, so we start off if this were all written in a nice little prepackaged one shot. I would probably give a little bit of a rundown of the lore, where there was once this proud race of people that made their lives in and surrounding the sea. However, they are now fallen. They are... Is that working, by the way? Mm-hmm. Is it showing to you? Okay, no. They're the Rivnor. They were led once by a goddess who we can find out through the course of the one shot ended up making a certain pact to save her people. However, it wasn't all altruistic. She made a lot of decisions about an encroaching a neighboring peoples that were very much seen as the baddies to them. But as we go further, it's maybe not all black and white. And she maybe made a lot of ruthless decisions in eradicating these other peoples. And eventually, time time came due for her and her people to pay the price of her pact. So she is now fallen along with her people. And their lands are now considered very cursed, very dangerous. And many people do not go there. It is known as Kagas. And legend has it that in her tomb there is a rare crystal that you can eat like candy that will give you many of her powers. So you have been sent after this legend to find this. So you can travel to a port and find the bluefin kind of fish shack where you will speak to Agerkaus, an interesting character. They make their living fishing along this port city. They speak in the third person. They will try to sell you a timeshare on their extremely fancy houseboat, but only they can book you passage to Kagas. So assuming you are able to successfully book passage, and hopefully you are able to, or, I guess knowing most parties, you could always kill Ager and wear their body as a skin suit to the docks to book passage. I'm speaking on behalf of my own experience as a GM. So you travel to Kulkagas, where it's very much kind of a barren landscape in a lot of parts. It looks almost drained of life. What would probably have been a very vibrant sea town is now very dark and terrifying, with a lot of sadness surrounding it. You can travel to... Oh, and you know what? I should actually drag you over here since that's more relevant now. You can travel past the Isle of Graves, which is kind of the only real remnant of their once proud capital city, as well as an old cemetery. And on the shores of this isle is an optional NPC encounter with a creature named Dashila. And this is our person who sings a song. She was once, if you spend some time getting to know her or kill her and find her cache of items that she has stashed under some graves, you will find out that she was once much different in appearance and seemed to be some sort of Captain General or something at the Palace of the Goddess. But she has a song that she will perform for you if given the right incentive. And depending on your GM style, you can have this be riddles or puzzles or, just straight up combat. A thumb war if you're playing in an actual table. So after that, you can go to the Cave of Horrors, which, like we talked about, is very much a cave based on actually confronting your character's fears one-on-one. Everything in this cave is very much like in the Star Wars cave that Luke goes into, where he faces down Vader. It's like himself, but he cuts it. It's fine. But you confront your horrors and overcome them via RP or combat. And depending on how that goes, you can find a creature in there called Bira. And you can either fight them or, again, attempt to reason with them. But either way, they have in their possession a map to the tomb. They also have in their possession a blade that's very cool, which is an arm that grips onto you and a sword at the end of it. So on Vera's map is a fun little dessert hint talking about a room full of marrow moose. And if you go find this room in the network of the cave, there's skelly jelly, which are giant glass bowls with skeletons crawling all over. And then after that, sorry, my voice is going. Assuming that you make it into the skelly jelly room, you can find the entrance to Alora's tomb, which will have all over it this crystal candy, which your players can break off and quickly leave should they decide to. Or they can have an encounter with Alora herself. And I made sure to include in the creatures that there are a few very cool looking tomb guards to have a little bit of like just adds to the fight, so it's not just her alone. But they will very much form out of the water at the bottom of the tomb. If they choose to fight, or again, various options. And then they can get the candy, head home, get their reward, whatever it may be, and the day is saved, and they have their treasure. Speaking of which, there are some really cool crystal swords that they can find, crystal candy swords. And that is my one shot.
Very important question.
Mm.
What does swords taste like?
Jolly Ranchers, various flavors.
Acceptable.
Very good. Acceptable.
I don't have a better answer, so rock candy would have been mine.
Why do I look at these and immediately think they taste like the salty ice cream from Kingdom Hearts?
Oh my god.
I had one question on the back because you kind of just like skipped over it, but the song. Do you have something written for that? Did you?
I do actually have. I went and found. I was like just trying to look up like limericks and shanties, and there's actually really a bunch of them written by Isaac Asimov. But like none of them really worked. But I did find this one, which was in some old publication from like 1910, some collection of strange limericks, and I changed a bunch of the words so that it would work. But yeah.
Would you mind reading it for the class?
Okay. I was so scared you would make me sing it. It's like my voice is not going to do it. I'm skipping right over this.
I was going to make you sing it, but
there was once a lady from Long who said, "Now the sea is so calm, I will swim for a lark," but she met with a shark. Let us now sing a soft song.
So, out of curiosity, does that relate to the fate of the god? Is that how the god died, with swimming with the shark, or?
I guess you would have to play and find out.
Like you mentioned, there was a pact made, and that gets me thinking. Yeah, like the shark is more than simply a aquatic predator.
Possibly.
It's really the moral of the story is that you should never trust in loan sharks. It's all a metaphor for.
Proper, you were making fun of us for jokes.
Proper, why have you done this?
We're supposed to fight the puns, not join us.
Oh.
It's gotten too late for this. I have slept like 4 hours in the last 3 days. Anyway. Well, I've got you all off kilter. I can start with questions. Same questions that I asked Ash for fairness
Okay, I'm
sake.
popping another cough drop. Sorry, hold on.
Do you think this is actually only a one-shot, or is this more than a one-shot?
Yeah, I did this a lot, like, in my mind at least, how Zeke Gonzalez does his, where so many of his stuff, like he'll stack out the lore at the beginning and basically give you the backstory. And then he'll give you the quick, here's the steps in which I've planned this to go. However, they may completely skip B and go right to C, or, you know, just do these. And each encounter in which you need to acquire something, I tried to make sure that there's not just the one way to get it. So who knows? They may not meet like half of the NPCs. They may not go to like half of the locations. I mean, having run so many one-shots, like that's most likely going to be the case. But it is set up to be a one-shot.
Okay, and then I'll morph your question and mine together. What is one thing that you're really proud of that you really want to run, and what is, if you had more time, what would you change about your one-shot to make it a little better? Think about the steps of the rubric that we give you. So what would you improve between exploration, social aspects, combat, narrative, notes, style, or the use of any of the ingredients?
I would want to really flesh out what exactly that crystal candy does, because I know that's going to be a whole lot of questions from the players, and so I don't want to leave the DMs being like, who are running the one shot, being like, that's magic and stuff. So I'd really want to flesh that out. I would be most excited to, as a GM running this, I'd be really excited to play the NPC that talks in the third person and tries to sell you a timeshare.
I should have known.
Yeah.
I also have one kind of quick question related to this. What exactly is the undead aspect of this one shot? Since that's the main ingredient.
The Rivenor.
Okay.
Yeah, the entire race of people.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Or
do you interact with a lot of the Rivenor, or not really?
So, yes. Dashila and Vera are both of the Rivenor, as well as Alora as their goddess.
I assume the guardians of the tomb kind of are as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's like, oh, these are just sea elves and they're all just gonna be undead sea elves. It's like this was an entire population of an area, and who knows what forms they took when they fell.
Like it a whole bunch. Combat wise, what were you thinking of for the guards? Like, if you had so they're going to be encountering some optional fights along the way. Have you considered that in regards to how you would handle the final fight? Like, in your mind, is there a scale for, you know, if your party's banged up from other fights versus if they slingshotted their way here?
What I would like to have happen is I would like Alora to be kind of like a high-end magic. She's a goddess, right? So she's going to have some hard-hitting spells. But to kind of limit that, I mean, there should be like she has these hard-hitting spells, but there's like, you gotta roll to...
Recharge?
Thank you. Recharge on them or things like that, where it's like, it does limit her. So it's like you have the players in suspense of like, okay, everyone, that just hurt. Like, let's try and get our crap together before she can do that again. Whereas the tomb guards, I feel like would mainly be handling crowd control and focusing on the mobile, like the fighters. So I would do a lot of like those appendage kind of like, when they reach out it's not an arm, but the thing that oozes and
we
other...
pseudopod.
pseudopod kind of water pseudopod kind of attacks. You could even work it into where they reach out and like grab you, hold you in their water, and it like starts to crystallize or something after a certain amount of time. Where it's like you actually get a little petrified or something.
Mm-hmm.
But you really just want to like, it would be crowd control and immobilizing your fighters, because she would be probably not a super glass cannon. Like I'm sure she would have some amount of hit points, but she's not going to just be like blasting off spells. So she doesn't want to have to take hits.
Gosh, I'm sorry. Cave of Horrors. If, let's say, a player was having a little bit of trouble conceptualizing what they should be experiencing, do you have any like when you were going through creating the process? Obviously, the Luke's training, that cave comes to mind. But did you have any other inspiration beyond that, or scenes that kind of came to your head of a party going through this?
Or certain one-shots you've played in that you may have gotten inspiration from?
He's convinced he invented the dead people cave.
What?
Don't worry.
What dead people cave have I been in?
Don't worry.
What were you? What were you thinking?
No, so I told you about that thing that I watched about horror movies and how they all play on a psychological factor. Like there's that terrible one by M. Night Shyamalan about like they go to visit their grandparents or something, and it's like fear of getting old. But like and it was just like, or like fear of old people, and it's just like sometimes, or Dark Skies. It's like I'll watch some horror movies and it's like no, but then I watch It Follows and it's like no, I'm not okay. Or The Ring, because like the ever-chasing threat of death, like that you cannot, like no one's getting off the rock alive, like that's what gets me. But like Dark Skies or whatever the old one, like I don't know,
It's literally called old.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, I know, because it's very.
No,
creative.
there's an old, and it's not the most recent. Anyways, so it's kind of like, but I saw the artwork where it's like, are those the cave walls, or are those actual lurking horrors? Is it your imagination, like when you're a kid in the dark and it's like the pile of clothes on your chair is suddenly an alien and it is going to murder you if you move or cry too loud for your mom? It's like that kind of thing. So it's just the like horrors in the dark manifesting. So if the characters, I would recommend as a DM, like I would have like a little note in the one shot, like go to their backstory, like what in their backstory is something that they can work off of. And if they don't have a backstory, like if they showed up and they're like, nah man, I just showed up and I random rolled this character, then have them pull from real life. Like, what are you scared of? Or if you don't want to play too close to home, what's your sibling scared of?
Yeah. And so this sequence is just kind of overcoming the fears and proving.
Yeah, and I'm sure there will be some where it's like the character may want to fight it, like Dark Link kind of style.
Mm-hmm.
Or it may be like for their character, they want to role play through it. They want to like, no, I'm going to confront that person that, caused this harm for me in the past, or, cast ridiculous at it, a whole bunch of, it's,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No, I appreciate that, like, the horrors are not always something you can fight. I think that's a very important note to make, that, the thing you're scared of doesn't always have a stat block.
Yeah.
So, I just think really, really
Jack,
nice.
the visit. Yes, thanks.
Oh, visit. Okay. But yeah, beyond that, how confident are you that you could hand off this page right now to somebody else and have that be run the way you envisioned it? Not like, I'm not like, oh, you have your NPCs or whatever out of order or something, but like if you were to give like a, like your 2 minute, two sentence, quick pitch like you're gonna do at the end here, and say, here's the Roll20 page to do this adventure, like, do you think they would deliver in the way that you would be satisfied with?
I mean, in the way that I would be satisfied. Did their
The question is
characters
really,
have
do
fun?
you think
Did
you
the
could pass
players
this
have-
off to someone else?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think so. I mean, I have burden of knowledge, though. So, like, I could give them the 2-minute spiel and be like, oh, yeah, they've got it, you know, and they could. So, who knows? But they may come and see this. I mean, I can always just think of Harper's where it's like, yeah, you got a whole bunch of stuff, but, like, we're going to go a totally different direction. So, like, they could come in and see this and be like, you know, I actually like this, this, and this, and this, you know. So, I do think I could hand it off with more fleshed out notes and a little bit of a spiel, but, like, other than that, yeah, if I gave them the backstory and the key, like, hitting points, probably. I'm making my best guess.
Yeah, I got nothing.
I guess I got a couple. So you kind of went with like I feel like you went with an interesting direction, going with making up your own race of undead people with these undead sea elves. Yes, well that was my question. I know you find a lot of your inspiration from like Pinterest and such. I was just curious, like, was it literally you just found that one piece and you're like, this has to be it? Or like, how did your like inspiration build off of that and be like, you see that and you're like, maybe it's undead. No, it's definitely undead. And now I'm going to bring in all this stuff.
So
I'm just kind of curious how it happened.
You said undead, and obviously, and I'm not, listen, basic bitch that I am, I went looking for crypts. I went looking for vampire stuff. Let's not pretend that that's not what I did. But I found stuff that was like, one of my first searches was creepy tavern, because I really wanted to start off in like a old world kind of creepy tavern, like, all right, here's our quest. And then I found one that looked like it belonged on the edge of a very old sea. And it was just like, okay, let's just do a quick search for like underwater undead. And then it was like, nope, we're going, yeah. But Fazul and I have talked about this a lot, where it's like, you start writing something, because him and I both do the art sets the path.
Gotcha. Very cool. I like it. It's good to kind of get that grasp there. And I don't know if I have another really good question. I think proper solo one I was going to ask, which was I was going to ask you your own question back, because I think it's a really good question. But I'll try to see if I can think of another one. In the other case, Ash, do you have anything you want to ask or comment on or whatever?
First, when are we playing this? Because this looks dope as hell. I want to play this like immediately. Holy shit. The question I have for you is more from like the creator standpoint, since you know we're kind of in this together and actually like writing this. Was there a part of writing this one shot that allowed you to like get into like a state of flow and something that you were just really excited to like get out of your brain and out onto a keyboard?
Yeah, honestly, like the actual journey was the easiest part for me, where it's like we started at the creepy tavern, and then it was like, okay, they reach the port of this abandoned city, then they go to the Cave of Horrors, and then I found the art of the like Isle of Graves, and it's like perfect. And then it was like, okay, we need a tomb to end at. So the journey actually went the fastest for me. It was the fleshing out like the goddess in my mind and her backstory and how it would affect this world that like I probably spent the most time on. Honestly, Agar Kaus, my weird little NPC, came to me weird. It's like oddly fast too. I was like, let's give it some quirks.
That is a Luka
these
classic,
annoying things. NPC, you should always have a very annoying NPC in every one shot.
I'm gonna have to remember that. That's very good.
It's good to have the journey before destinations. Yeah.
Like your players will your players will either love or hate them, or just love to hate them. So it'll go either way.
We didn't get any questions from chat, right?
I've been looking. I didn't see any, but I didn't miss any.
There's a dragon there stealing soda. so
Isn't
you better be
Skelly
careful.
Jelly just
Sorry
bone
about that.
marrow? I think the answer is yes, but
I mean, it's bone marrow moose in the map, so it's literally like, it's like kind of it's Skelly Jelly.
that's
I
the
saw
only,
the picture.
that's the only question mark I see in the
Mhm.
in the chat. So there's nothing else. We can have we'll start with Ash, since you went first. If you want to give like a quick paragraph description of what you did, and then Luca, you as well, just to give the chat a reminder of what each of the 2 one-shots are, and then we'll go to break and we'll put up a voting tab so chat can vote and see which one they want to play, or they think is the coolest, or they want to run. Vote however you as the chatter want to vote, but please vote. We appreciate it. All right, Ash, let me take it away.
Okay. I'm not muted. Okay, great. Your players begin this adventure mid-combat with a necromancer. It's apparent that they'll lose, and while they ultimately do, they're eventually reanimated as undead versions of themselves, and tasked with various duties to help defend the necromancer from encroaching adventurers. Following a successful defense of the tower, the necromancer reveals that they're actually extremely lonely and only wanted friends to be there to celebrate their birthday, cake and all.
And Luca, do you want to give a quick recap on yours?
Yeah, that's fucking cute. Yeah, okay, so you are sent in the candy shanty. Is that where we landed?
So cute.
You are sent to get some ancient goddess remains of crystal candy in the cursed land of an ancient sea elf race, and have to go face your fears, encounter horrors, and the occasional odd or terrifying NPC, and at the end of which you may or may not fight an undead goddess, and then steal candy from her tomb.
Both. All right, chat, keep those 2 in mind, and we'll put a vote up and let you guys choose which of the 2 is your favorite. And with that, we're going to take about a 10-minute break to give you time to vote and to let us judges confer and come to our conclusions as well. So, we'll see you shortly to announce. Hello, and welcome back to Iron GM. We've just wrapped up our voting. The chat vote is in, and Ash and Rabbit won the chat vote. But how will it affect the final totals? We've divvied them up from our judges and have looked at the results, and your winner for tonight has been decided. And it goes with the chat as well, as Ash and Rabbit has won today. Congratulations, Ash. Feel free to accept however you would like, and feel free to pitch everything you're in.
Why does this keep happening? I don't understand. Well, hey, first of all, chat, thank you for being here and witnessing this shenanigery. I think that's a word. Whatever. It's been real cool. And to go competing against Luke Locke is like one of the coolest things. What a privilege. Just such a good brain, a good bean. We're gonna play that one shot. It's gonna be wicked cool, and I want to learn more about your cool mer people. I gotta know. I want that crystal candy. Goddammit. As far as what's going on in the old Twitchiverse for this gal, I run a campaign over on twitch.tv/nat20. It's called Against the Tides. It's set in Wildmount in the world of Exandria, but maybe not the kind of Exandria that you know. That runs every other Wednesday. We're coming back on the 22nd, so feel free to come check this out at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time that day. I'm also in another campaign over on Dat Magic Jesus channel. You might know Magic, because he is also GM here on TPK Roleplay. He runs Queen's Gambit here, but he also runs a mix of homebrew and Princes of the Apocalypse over on his own channel, and we are rapidly closing in on the finale of Princes of the Apocalypse. And more into homebrew stuff, and it's really cool. Check out his channel. I'm not sure exactly when our next session's going to be. It's summer. People are doing cool life things. And then I'm also like reviving my own Twitch channel with a bunch of like TTRPG focused content. I got accepted onto a Wild RP server for Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm like stoked about that. So come witness that if you want. And other fun things like GM prepping and potential cosplay things. Who knows? Anyway, I've talked a lot, so that's me. I'm gonna pass it over to Luca so she can gush about all the cool things that she's doing.
Hi, I was not prepared.
Sorry.
No. Yeah, hi, I'm Luke Locke. You can find me everywhere as Luke Locke. Twitter, Twitch, just really everywhere. I am back here tomorrow on TPK Roleplay, playing a Wild Hunt shifter rabbit, essentially in our Fragments weekly demi-plane campaign. Run by Harrison, and then I've got a whole bunch of stuff coming up. Check out the calendar on TPK to see. That's mostly where you can find me these days when I am not off swimming and enjoying the summer right now because it's warm outside and sunny. Yeah, that's it for me.
All right, judges, if you want to say your goodbyes as well. Turk, we'll start with you.
Sure thing. Hey everybody, I am Turk, or Turk Centered on Twitch and Twitter. If you want to see more of the things that I do, you can find me here on TPK Roleplay, but also over on Neon Lights Roleplay, as well as Lost Caravan RPG. But the big thing I want to give a shout out to is tomorrow we will be back in Thylea with Oathsworn and Honestly the Dragonlord's campaign. It is my baby. I love it to death. And my players have just completed their third labor, so it's about time for them to decompress. Should be a relatively chill session. And maybe start heading off to the next chapter of this tale. So if you haven't gotten a chance to join us yet, I'd say now could be a great time. There's definitely going to be some catching up about everything just happened and where they might go next. So if you can, I think it'll be absolutely great. But there's a bunch more stuff coming up, so keep it locked to social media, and of course support everyone's on your screen here. But also really quick, I know I shouldn't be taking too much time, but shout out to the Bundle for Buffalo and the Bundle for Reproductive Changes. They're at two excellent causes with some excellent games featuring creators that are in this community right here. Just a quick note not to let tragedy be the only time you put good out into the world. Keep being excellent. And, Slava Ukrainia. That's all for me.
Thank you, Turk.
Hello,
Proper, if you
my
want to
name
hear
is Proper Nerdy. I'm a TPK staff member, roleplayer, game master, and sometimes game designer. It would mean the world to me if you told all your friends about the final episode of Madness Calls It Forth, a City of Mist campaign based on the Knights of Paintown. That'll be on Monday, the 27th of June, and it concludes a 11-episode series. We'll see if there's a season 2. I really hope there will be, because I'm actually really enjoying the characters we're playing with. Whether we wind up in a different system or stay in City of Mist, I'm not sure, but it would mean the world to me if you came to our final episode on the 27th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 Pacific. Beyond that, have a lovely, lovely day. I have another show called Nautilus coming up in July with Ash and a few other folks. I think Turk's saying some of the episodes too. So I hope to see you then. We are surfacing July 25th. So have a lovely evening all. And thank you to our contestants. You did an excellent job.
All right, to wrap us up, I've been Purple Phil, one of your hosts, and the next thing I'll be on is I'm just going to pitch this show. So we have our consolation round up next month on July 11th, which Luka will be joining on the team of Fazul and Tate Washburn to join into a trifecta of 3 against the other team that's already been decided, being Foxy, Saint, and Osiris Franco. So those are going to be 3 amazing teams. They're basically going to do what we did here, but they're going to have to work as a team. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see how it happens, see how people create together.
I believe in you.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
I watched Project Runway. Oh no!
Hopefully the personalities don't compete too much. But with that, the championship will be the following month after that, on August 15th, where Ash will be going up against Zipper on Disney, which is also going to just be an amazing show of the winners so far through the tournament. So I'm looking forward and excited to all that, and please join us, and thank you everyone who came out. Thank you for everyone who voted. We have record voting numbers. Keep voting, it matters. It helps decide winners.
Pokemon, go to the polls.
I mean,
thanks, Turk, for that. We appreciate you all, and I hope you all have a good night. We'll see you all later. Goodbye.